because she's not skinny.
Hey John, what we doing?
We just finished the pilot of Jam Podcast, man. Hey Mar, what's Jam Podcast?
Jam Podcast is a podcast by Jon and Mar. Jam, hence the name.
It's a my boom. Keep a lookout, guys. A screen near you. Get where you get all your podcasts from.
This first pilot episode is brought to you by
Stacey's Creations.
Thank you. I blanked there because I always forget the names of things.
Tamar blanks because he's not about that bread. Stacey's Creations. Look her up on Facebook. She makes labels. She makes shirts. She could pretty much stick a label, image, or text on anything you want. Anything. Very reasonable prices. Anything. That hat you're wearing, the jacket you're wearing, the back of that tablet, this table, the bottle, the pint glass, the cameras you're using here. Hit her up. You're going to see us wearing some Stacey Creation gear as time goes on. So if you like what you see, give it a look, man. We're going to be all over Facebook page. So this is the Jam Podcast, guys. Jon and Mar. Tamar and I have a lot of what I'm going to call insightful conversations. You're going to have a view into what we normally talk about and how we discuss things. So how we talk here on this podcast is how we talk in real life. We're not putting it on for the show. We're not putting it on for the views. But we are doing this for the bread. Not going to lie to you. We're doing this for the bread. We're having too many conversations for free over PlayStation Network, over Discord, over WhatsApp. And it's just, we can't do it free anymore, man. You lot need to see this, be witness to this. Give us a couple of pointers and tips.
As it's our first rodeo, and we haven't yet been picked up for HBO, as I was saying to John off the camera, we're just going to see how it goes, to be honest. And we have a couple of topics we want to talk about, interesting topics that is current, that people will want to hear. And actually, because I moved away and left you like a little bitch, we don't get to talk that often.
No, we don't.
So we might end up going a lot longer than we think.
Tamar and I used to chat for, when I say hours, it was over PlayStation to give us something else to do. But we'd be on PlayStation, create a party, and we would literally put the world to rights. Friends, strangers, colleagues. If you could hear that, we can't even have those conversations on this podcast because we would get cancelled. I mean, we end up in prison. Some of the conversations we have were wild. But we used to have them often, at least bi-weekly.
Exactly.
At least fortnightly we used to have them. But things change, man. Like, we're both working now. I've got a son. He's got himself a missus. We're just so busy. Tamar's calendar's unreal, so we don't get to do it as often, which is why we actually want to do this podcast in the first place, so that it would give us a reason to meet up and have conversations again. So
100%. To that point now,
100%.
We're both about to be 30. Well, you are 30, sorry. You are.
Wow, I've been already dropped my age like that on the podcast.
Something to be proud of.
Already.
Life starts at 30, so
already. I turned 30 in September, the big 3-0. Okay. Obviously, for all the Brits, one of the oldest in my year in September. Tamar on the opposite scale, one of the youngest in the year.
Hey.
Was it June?
I'm June, so by comparison, I'm still in the womb. It's 6 months till I'm born. That's what I'm saying.
That's mad, because I see couples with like wild. So I'm married, so I see couples with some wild age gaps, right? And I look at my wife thinking like, when I was born, she didn't even exist. She was like still a couple of cells, and I get kind of creeped out by that, and I shouldn't. So I have a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me, right? I don't feel like I could be someone younger than my sister.
You don't think you could be someone?
I couldn't be with someone younger than my sister.
Okay.
Which means I can't. So worst case scenario, something happens, I'm not married. I could not be with a woman younger than my sister. Which means at my age now, any suitor I have would have to be 29 or over.
Okay. Yeah.
And to me, if I was conversating with a girl and I found out she was like 23, I'd dead it off immediately. And it's weird because there's nothing wrong with it. Fine, isn't it? Like,
I have the rule. It's like 5 years. That's the difference for me, maximum. I don't know why. It just seems.
What's the age gap between you and your missus?
It's 5 years.
5 years, exactly.
So I'm 29. She's 24.
Yeah.
So it's.
But there's nothing. So when people tell me the age gaps, I don't care. Like, I'm not like it doesn't creep me out. But just for me, I can do it. I don't know why.
It's funny
because you and her are great together. You and your missus are great together. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's not even an age gap between 24 and 29.
I just think it's the right gap because, to be honest, there is differences in music taste and differences in like
Dead.
films and things like
Ain't on
that.
the same how I don't know music.
All I know is that I was talking about Mariah Carey. She's like, who? No, hey, yeah, she's a diva. I'm like, bro, I grew up watching MTV Bass and Mariah Carey running around, and I'm like,
She said who?
well, no, she knows who it is.
No, don't back her.
She knows who it is. She's just not a fan of her because she didn't grow up.
Do you know what the maddest thing is? People 25 and under know Mariah Carey is that mixed race Christmas girl.
That's it. That's the only thing.
That's all they know about
Baby
Mariah.
mama. That's it.
And Nick Cannon's baby mama.
They don't know all the history.
Nick Cannon's bottom bitch. That's
Oh
it.
my god. But no, she was like, she's one of my first loves, Mariah Carey. So yeah, I mean, 5 years it works. Anything more, then you're basically a credit snatcher. Credit snatcher, yeah, that's the one. And anything up with 5 years older, then you're like.
Would you move a woman older than you?
I said 5 years is the thing maximum. Nothing more.
You'd go 5 above you?
I would. I wouldn't go to like double my age. No, nothing like
I wouldn't go a day above you. And you think I'm joking?
You wouldn't go a
Yeah,
day.
I wouldn't go a day. If she was born on the 13th of September 1992, I'm not running it, bro. Never in my life.
I mean, I guess you've got to cut off somewhere. If that's your one, then
One day.
cool.
Your 5 years is so, you're so good because it's like you're actually really open-minded. Me, we could hit it off. It would be a great night, shubs, dancing, whatever, a couple of drinks and that, and she'll drop to me, oh yeah, I'm 31, and I'm over it immediately. Going yard,
Nice to know you.
home,
It's all done.
finished.
So yeah, let's see what we can start off with. Actually, I think you've got a nice juicy topic.
I have got
Nice juicy topic.
something.
Yeah.
It's weird. So it's kind of sport related, but it's not sport related at the same time. It's just about the World Cup. It's about the World Cup. It's about the World Cup in Qatar. It's about Saudi Arabia. It's about all that stuff. So initially, I just want to ask you: World Cup in Qatar, good or bad idea? This is about my topic.
I think it's kind of stupid because it just forces us all to change the way the seasons are. Like, we haven't done it for any other country in any other time, but we switched up the whole game just for the Qatar World Cup, and I think there's ulterior motives all around it. That's what I'm thinking. That's all it is. It's not known as a footballing nation. I'm not saying that they can't become one.
That was my caveat. Like this, if we never give them a chance, are they ever going to become a football nation?
I mean,
If they really wanted to get in on it, because like you said, they're not a football nation, so they have spent hundreds of millions, which they can afford, because we all know that Qatar's a rich nation.
yeah.
They can afford it, but they have spent a lot of time, money, and effort into building all these world-class stadiums and facilities just for the World Cup. Then, they don't need it for their regular league season.
No.
They built these all fresh because of the World Cup.
Exactly. So, thinking about it like that, are these stadiums going to be empty afterwards? What are they trying to present to the world? And I don't know any Qatari people personally.
I don't know if they're called Qatari, bro. That sounds like some Avatar team.
That's true. That's true.
Chitari from Avengers. The Chitari, the ones that come through the rift and start, then force smash them up. Carry on. You call it Chitari, bro. Carry on.
Qataris. I'm sure I'll Google it after this
Yeah,
session and I'll be corrected. But what's the purpose behind it? So yeah.
Money, bro.
Yeah.
Sepp basically come out and said it was money. Sepp Blatter,
It's about
they interviewed him a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it was his decision to give Qatar the World Cup, right? And then he said in his interview, it should have never gone to Qatar. It's a mistake. It should have gone to USA instead.
Oh god.
So you basically said, this is Sepp Blatter, hey, I'm not a bags man, they paid me bread, like, I'm sacked, doing business, I'm out of here. What, 10 million, 10 million fine? Here, take it.
Yeah.
Because he knows he messed up, but
Yeah.
he was put in a position where, could you honestly say you would have done the same? If they come to you and offered you bags, £10 million, they offered you £10 million, not your business corporation, not your governing body like FIFA. They offered you personally £10 million to put the World Cup in Qatar.
So
You say no.
I would say no.
Now you're lying because you don't have the opportunity. You're lying.
I said no to many things in my life, and I would say no to that too. I would do.
I love you. You're lying, bro.
I'm uncorruptible. I feel like. Well, I'm saying this where they slapped it in front of my face or showed me.
If they put 10 million in front of you and you could smell it, fresh, crisp notes,
I might have to call someone first and say, "Yo,
all in
check out."
50s, and they let you.
It'd never be that though. I think I'd be too worried that it's a sting operation, so I'd be like, no. I'd just say no outright and you think, damn. Should I say yes? Because I'd be worried that they're just gonna get me. So that's probably not a good way of explaining myself. Like, the only reason I wouldn't do something is the fear of getting caught. But yeah, I would say no.
I mean, it'd be hard.
I guess with this one, if he's saying this now, he basically was like, I don't care if I get caught. I already got away with it.
He has already got away with it.
So
he's been removed from his position. So what are they going to do now? You can't go to prison for what you done.
No.
Because if you could have gone to prison, you would have gone to prison. But
yeah,
you should have, you couldn't.
In fact, I started watching the new documentary on Netflix, which is about FIFA's corruption, and he's in it. He's in it, talking about his rise to get to that position of being.
It's the mafia.
Yeah,
it's the football mafia. It is.
It's the football mafia. But I don't know how much he's like now. Just yeah, it was me. I did it. Yeah, and what? Which sounds like it's a lot.
You watch them like old school bank robbers who like nowadays are like 80 odd. Like yeah, we robbed that bank blind. Like cause what are you gonna do to them now? Innit? Like they've already done live their life. What are you gonna do?
They're like good times. That's all it is. Simple. So yeah, to answer your question,
do you feel as if because they've obviously bid for this World Cup, right? Because they want it, and Qatar doesn't need any more money.
No.
Everyone always wants money, but they don't need any more, right? That's not the reason they did it.
No.
They're gonna have a lot of eyes on their country because everybody and their mum is talking about how this humanitarian issue is a problem and they don't respect people, blah 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 blah. And those same people, me included, as soon as World Cup kicks off, they're not gonna care.
No.
Billions of people watch World Cup every 4 years, and they always will, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, everything they're saying about Qatar, they were also saying about Brazil.
Yeah.
These men were just moving. You either left your home or you died under it. That was your choice.
100%.
They're moving all these people out of their homes. People died in the stadiums. But as soon as ball kicked off, no one cared.
No one cared.
The last World Cup was in Russia. Look what Putin's on now. And we all knew what Putin was like back then, and they still let him have it. And that World Cup I love that World Cup. So we're all gonna watch it. Is this a genuine attempt from them to change? So what would they want all the attention for then? Because it all currently now it's all negative. All of it's negative.
Well, I think that what they're doing is that they get to write their own sort of history. So whilst it happens and after it happens, they will make their own history up. They will explain what they want and write their own narrative. But even though there's this underhanded thing of there's a lot of human rights issues or that's wrong and that's wrong, they don't really care because at the end of it, they'll have the pictures, they'll have the moments, they'll have the handshakes, and they'll just go, "Hey."
Do you think right then? Do you think the Qatar establishment will want a seasoned team to win it or like a brand new team? Like have you seen Sammy Leto? He thinks Cameroon are going to beat Morocco in the final. The final is Cameroon and Morocco. Do you think Qatar want that, or do you think they want the mega Argentina versus Portugal, Brazil versus Germany or something? I mean, like a big thing.
They'd want a big winner to win it, but they want it to be not controversial. I think because if there's like, they shouldn't have won. If there's any of that, any doubt around the way the game was played, then that kind of rules it out. Because it wasn't there one year. Was it Korea and another country had a joint World Cup, and it was a famous game against the Dutch where South Korea went through, but they were fouling the Dutch completely, like constantly fouling them, tackling them. But they ended up winning the game like 1-0 or 2-1, something like that. And people always remember it for those reasons. So I think they just want a legit everything nice.
They want the controversy. Man.
You think?
That's the best bits of football. Is a controversy.
Lampard.
Lampard's failed goal.
You want moments. 100%.
Henry handballing it, knocking out Ireland. The hand of God. That's what comes to my mind before any of the winners.
Yeah. You want a good story.
Other than England's win, because we live in England, I can't tell you, and obviously the recent ones, I can't tell you who won the World Cup win. Couldn't tell you.
True. They want, okay, I understand. They do want controversy. They want something that will get things being talked about, which will overshadow theirs.
So one of the establishment had an interview a couple weeks ago, and I don't know why, but he just started tearing into the LGBTQ community.
What did he say?
He was calling it disgusting, it's wrong, immoral, like legit to the point where they actually cancelled the interview midway. They went, nothing, they didn't be done, had to cut it because they thought this man is going to ruin everything. Who let him in front of an open mic?
He was like, "What? Is that not what you wanted me to say?"
Yeah, and he's just shooting down the LGBTQ community in flames. And now there's thousands of them flocking to his country to watch the World Cup.
Just to make a point or going anyway. I don't know.
That's the thing. So like, it's gonna happen there now. So he said that, and it doesn't matter because it's gonna happen there, right? But all these teams that are going over there, Germany, USA, England, they've all got their sort of training centres, and they've like stamped up LGBTQ stuff everywhere to be like, oh, we support you, blah blah blah. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine, and it should be done, right? My thought process: if you care that much, you wouldn't be there. If you care that much, you wouldn't be there. Yeah. No one's saying you have to care that much. If they didn't say anything, Lloris, like I said to you, he said, we're going to Qatar, we need to respect their rules and laws. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No. Because you do, no matter where you go, you just respect the rules and laws. There's obviously a governing body that decided to put it in Qatar, knowing how controversial their laws and values are. But if we fly out there today, we can't walk around holding hands, kissing the street. We can't do that. No. Do you know what I mean? We have to respect the rules and laws. So you have to do that.
Would you be expecting the players to be more making a stand, or just you would have expected more of a backlash of people fighting against it?
I don't think the players should have gone.
Because we've known it was going there for years.
Who people?
We have.
Yeah. So yeah, it's strange. But then at the same time, we're not walking around on television every single week saying, "Oh, it's wrong. They shouldn't be that." Because I believe that is wrong. You shouldn't attack anybody for anything. What they believe, what they look like, what they think. Like, you shouldn't attack them at all. But we're not running around going, "This is wrong. This is immoral. I'm gonna go and get paid millions to go there and enjoy myself and play football."
Yeah.
Because whether football's like it or not, they are on a pedestal, and the things you're saying are important. If it's important to at least one person, then it's important.
Yeah.
Right. But now you're gonna go there and collect the bag.
They're gonna collect. Yeah, and they're still a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, you don't have to go. Don't say anything and go, or say something and don't go. Don't say something and go.
We had that there's no out Premier League player at all. So not a single Premier League player has come out as being gay.
However, there's a Premier League couple going over there that are playing right now. There's a Premier League. There's a male Premier League couple, gay, who are at the World Cup, who are still in the closet, but their teammates know.
I've seen some rumours of who they think it is. But
my thought process is, everyone's saying, "Oh, they're going to Qatar, bro. They're in the closet still in England, so let's clean up our own backyard. We'll start flinging them to Qatar."
That's the whole point.
Their man live in England and feel like they can't come out, so it doesn't matter. It's not a problem about Qatar. It's a problem, obviously, football in general. That's a different topic anyway.
If they want to set the example, they got to do it back home. You can't go in another man's yard and be like, "Yo, take your feet up on the floor."
You don't like gays. Neither do you. Neither do your man.
Exactly.
Same boat, bro. Different colour, same boat.
Absolutely. It's just, pop quarter and the kettle black. Yeah. No, I like that.
Well, there's another topic. So it gets me thinking about how us in Britain and England can sit on a high horse and point fingers, but you've got to do it in the right way.
Bro, we hosted the Euros. It's not funny. It isn't funny. We hosted the Euros, and when Italy beat us in the Euro final, there was Englishmen standing in front of the Italy turnstiles, punching up Italians as they tried to go home.
Wow.
They had to leave Wembley through these turnstiles, and there's literally British people there punching up the Italians and the security. And I remember watching the footage on the news, or I think it was live, one or two, because I remember watching it when I was here watching it. And one of the ushers tried to grab one Englishman, and he went, "Do your job and get them fucking home." Bro, they're literally leaving the stadium through their one exit, and you're there punching them, telling them to go home. Yeah, he's going, bro.
Yeah.
He want to stay here with you. He lives in Italy. You think he wants to stay in London?
Yeah. And the argument would be he's just one guy.
Nah,
People are backing him. You know he's acting with a lot of support somewhere. He doesn't know. No man goes into places as a complete cowboy without knowing that someone somewhere backs him, either like theoretically or culturally or something. He knows. So yeah, you're 100% right. 100% right.
And then obviously the big one. No beer. That's what everyone's talking about the most. Like there's people that flew out from Qatar yesterday and early this morning or earlier in the week to go witness the opening ceremony, which I think is going to look fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
And watch all the games. And now they've been told there's no beer there at all, apart from the corporate boxes and the VIP areas in the stadium, which are going to be full with Sepp Blatter and all their man there.
So will it be like alcoholic brands like 0%, basically? Is that what they're going to try and do?
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
because I don't know if you know, but most 0% beers actually have alcohol in them.
Okay, so they're all haram then.
Yeah, in fact, all the ones that are sold in most of the pubs in our country have like 0.04%. So you can technically call it non-alcoholic because the volumes you have to drink to get drunk would be included. You die from that liquid before the alcohol, but it has. You can't sell them to minors still because they have alcohol in them. So it's, and then Budweiser, who's obviously a massive sponsor of the World Cup, tweeted, "Well, this is awkward. These men are going to be doing press conferences with bottles of Budweiser in front of them, but let them take a sip. That'll be their last sip before they're in prison."
This is the level where marketing is like, what are we
wild.
sponsoring these days? What's the even point?
What you have to remember is, because I was thinking it's silly that Budweiser's a sponsor, but they can't drink it at the games or drink it in the country. But you have to remember that the branded advertising deals are done for TV.
Yeah.
Because people that are going to be watching the World Cup will be allowed to drink from their homes.
Yeah.
So the whole point is they're going to see Budweiser and then go buy Budweiser. It's not. It's weird because we're thinking, well, you can't drink it there. It's not for them.
It's not
there.
about that.
It's
Yeah,
not about that. It's about everyone else. The billions that are
The rest
watching
of
the
the
World Cup
world, yeah,
are going to be seeing
100%.
Budweiser everywhere.
100%. So they're just getting that marketing out for the rest of the world. And while we're there,
Subscribe to my channel, the business production company. So that sponsors this as well.
Big.
Yeah, why not? And let's get back
So
to
what's
the
going to
topic.
happen is there's going to be a rehearsed practice plug that Tamar drops every time we say that.
Absolutely. Welcome back for anyone that stepped away to take shit.
Yeah, apologies for the weird cut. Like a pilot episode, so we're working things out.
Absolutely.
I don't know where we ended, so it might have literally ended like sort of parted for a topic, and I was just going right, something new.
Next thing. On to the next thing. And I want to talk about mortgages because I know very little about it. All I know is that some people hate them, some people love them, and the word mortgage just makes it sound like it's a death sentence for a lot of people. And because of that fact, until now I've been scared to even talk about it with anyone. Whenever the topic comes up, I'll try and exit that conversation every single time. So yeah, I just want to learn more about it, talk to my good friend about it, because I know that he has a very strong opinion on all things.
I don't know
Everything.
how to do that. This is a weird one because you know what I do for a living. It comes with certain perks, and one of the perks is I don't have to sort of suffer the same financial costs of living that people suffer. I don't
Yeah, cool.
pay a mortgage, I don't pay bills, I don't pay utilities, all I pay is council tax. So for me, I want a mortgage, but then I understand, but don't understand that I'm not going to be able to live the lifestyle that I live now, and I will not have nearly as much money as I do. But I just want that because I'm an immigrant, right? So I was born in Jamaica. I obviously moved over here when I was fairly young,
Yeah.
British citizen, all that kind of stuff. But to me, it's like property is absolute, right? When you own property, you can relax. That's my last big goal in life, is to own a house. And if I can get that house in the next 5 years, as far as I'm concerned, I would have completed life by like 35.
Okay.
And then the rest of my life I'll just be chilling.
Yeah.
When you own your property, it gives you so many options.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we can get a mortgage, save up some money, get a mortgage, and we're in a position to save a lot of money, up, get a mortgage, and then it gives us the choice. We don't have to work where we work. We have to work as hard as we do, as often as we do. Once we get the sort of mortgage payments to a level that we can manage, do you know what I mean? So
there is that element that actually gives you a strong base and gives you more freedom, do you think,
100%,
in a way?
100%.
I kind of viewed it the other way for some reason. I was viewing it like it gives me a lack of freedom and somewhere to be stuck and pinned
So
down.
I mean, so if you, as you're like when you're saving, yeah, because you're on the grind. You know what it's like to grind. You're grinding for something, so you're sort of, you do feel like you're struggling. You feel like you have nothing, right? But if you can somehow get your deposit together, I don't know if you know this, but most people get the deposit through like inheritance or being given money by family.
Yeah.
Most people don't actually work and earn up a deposit.
No,
Most people
no.
get given
So
a
when all the
deposit.
politicians are like saying, well, you stop having coffee
Yeah.
and cancel your Netflix, you get a house, it's like,
It doesn't work like that.
Change
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. But the point is, once you get that and you get the mortgage payments, that's when you'll know. Oh, my mortgage is only X amount a month. once you know you can have a job that gives you X amount a month and some money on the side to do what you want, you could be like, I don't need to be here.
Okay.
Like that's if you don't enjoy a job. Some people are working because they need money, right? So once you get your mortgage payments, like right, I need to make £500 a month to cover my mortgage, another £300 a month to get my bill. So I need to make sure I get at least £800 a month, right? That then opens up your option because then you don't have to be earning 45, 50, 60 grand a year anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
People who have a mortgage,
capped,
yeah,
in a way,
yeah.
right?
People who have a mortgage who say they're broke aren't broke because they've paid their bills,
Yeah.
they've paid their mortgage, they've got their house.
Yeah.
They're alright. They just mean they don't have enough money to mess around with you.
This is the
They
case.
got money to be going to cinema 4 times a week,
Yeah.
and eating out 3 times a week, and
Yeah.
drinking 3 nights every weekend.
Yeah.
That's what they mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you and I right now, we don't own our houses.
Yeah.
If we say we're broke, it's like, brother, do not ring me till Thursday.
Yeah.
That's, do you know what I mean? When we say we're broke, that's
Yeah.
what we mean. They don't mean that when they say they're broke.
Yeah, interesting. And I've been renting not majority of my whole life,
Paying off man's mortgage, bro.
paying off someone else's mortgage. So, as I said, I always kind of thought, oh well, you know, people who talk about homes and mortgages and houses, maybe they're so aware of the benefits that they don't really need to shout about it, and maybe it's so obvious to everybody else. However, you know, you're not taught about mortgages in school. You know, if you have people in your community, friends or family that talk about it to you, then it's something that is in your consciousness, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and what I understand about mortgages now, after the recent budget stuff, is it rules people's lives also.
Yeah.
That's the thing that also worries me sometimes, is that it is central to their life. I guess
Yeah.
if you're building something, you want to build it from a strong base, and it happens to be the mortgage. Maybe it's not such a bad thing, which is what I was thinking before.
I mean, you're right. If you're struggling to keep up your mortgage, then that's a whole different story. Like, if you're getting letters saying we coming for your house, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if the bank like that's ours, we coming for it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm talking from a place where you're prepared and you're ready and you can do it. But if something happens and you can no longer work, or you can no longer provide financially,
I feel like I've seen it in a film or a TV show where repossessions are coming. So I think that's also in my mind. I'm thinking, people lose houses too.
I mean, it's weird because you always see those things and people like really shocked, but 99 times out of 100, they know what's happening.
Yeah.
They're just either like they're putting their head in the sand, or because there is help out there. Obviously, I don't know because I haven't done that more, but I know that there's help out there.
Yeah.
And if you're just honest and go and say this, and this, then they will help you as best as they can. Now, that doesn't mean you go there and be like, listen, I ain't got no job, I'm not going to get a job. How are we going to do this? They'll be like, okay, then give us the keys and get out. So, I mean, that is what they're going to say to you. But they will help you if you're looking to help yourself. Then, do you know what I mean? They'll give you all the help they can, because at the end of the day, they want their money. They don't want the house, they want your money. That's have to remember. They take the house as a punishment to you, because they're going to sell it off, but they're not going to get for it what they would have got from you. Like when I'm watching Can't Pay Out, then we'll take it away. You ever see that on TV? They'll be like, oh, you've got $5 debt, this car might be worth $7.5 grand, we need to take your car. The reason they take other stuff as well is because they'll sell that car at auction and only get like $3 grand for it.
Okay.
So there's still sort of like debt left over, but because they've taken the car off you, it's cleared for you. And then they got to go and then try and get the money off your second-hand stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's a funny one. I was watching Mr. Beast. If you're on YouTube and you don't know who Mr. Beast is, you need to grow up.
I'm one of those people.
Mr. Beast is the most subscribed person on YouTube. About 111 million.
111?
Yeah.
What, more than PewDiePie? I know, I'm definitely showing my age.
He's
now.
just beat PewDiePie. Last week,
Wow.
PewDiePie, 111 million. But PewDiePie's really slowed down his content. He's not really in it
Of course.
because he was on the grind of I want to be the best, and now it's weird because now he's done. People, this be scored, but he stopped last year.
Okay.
He kind of went the
Fair
other way.
enough.
So he does a lot of things where outlandish things of money where he'll like give away $500,000, or his most recent video was whoever took the hand off the private jet last won a private jet. But there's people who know things about that who then like shit on Mr. Beast and say, oh, he puts all these contestants in debt because the tax they pay on that jet means that the jet isn't worth $2 million. They're only gonna get 1.4 after pay the tax. And then Mr. Beast come on an interview and said, like, I hear people, but people who say that don't understand money. Because if I give you a £2 million private jet and you sell it for 1.4 million. After tax, you've got 1.1 million. They put it saying Mr. Beast's really going to give like 900 grand off him, but you had nothing to begin with, and now you have over $1 million.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he actually said, normally he says to the person, I can give you the jet because you've won it, or I can just buy the jet off you and you can take the money.
Gotcha.
And people are like, no, I'll take the jet, and then complain that they can't sell it.
They take the jet.
Yeah, he said some people will take the jet. Well, if Mr. B said I'm going to buy a jet off you, I'll be like, take it, bro, I don't want it.
Of course, because what am I going to use that for in everyday usage? Someone is I think I saw another YouTube video where I was saying if you've got a jet, you can use that to make your millions, and it's like, oh, because I've got to buy jet fuel. I've got to buy the staff to get on the plane. I've got to buy.
Oh my god!
All this.
I'm
not buy the
so
staff.
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go for it.
I was in Barcelona for my birthday.
Okay.
Right. We were. Our hotel was literally at like a port.
Yeah.
Right. Shipping port.
Oh,
Bro,
I know what you're talking about.
There was a ship that rolled up that was straight out of Paris Caribbean. Not like a modern day yacht or cruise line. This thing was made from wood and had like 15 sails and all the little windows on the side. It was like a proper old school Paris Caribbean ship, working ship. And through talking to people in Barcelona, I didn't realise that if you own a ship, it also means you pay a captain and a shipping crew to maintain the ship.
Mm-hmm. No such thing as a free ship.
And I was like, I'm sorry. They went, what, do you think the ship just sits one place all year round? And I went, yeah. And they went, no. So I'm thinking, not only do you have to pay for a ship, not only do you have to pay the docking fees of where it's docked, you're paying people to just live in your ship. And they're getting paid to be there. To do what? Make sure your ship don't sink.
Yeah, 100%.
And these men will just, and you have to contact the captain and crew if you want to go on your ship so they can arrange to come and get you.
So it's not like you can just.
You can't just hop on your ship on a Tuesday. No. You need to ring captain and be like, yo, where are you? Oh, we're in Venezuela. Okay, how quickly can you get back to London? Because I want to get on my ship. Oh, we'll be in London in about 6 months' time. See you then. You got
months.
If you're far enough away, you have to book appointments to get on your own ship.
Wow. So you can't even just randomly stump on someone. Oh, I've got a party next week. Bring your boat.
Bring the boat. Yeah. Yo, bring the ship. Nah. Captain Birdseye said he ain't ready for another 3 months, big man.
Could be booking stuff a quarter in advance.
Bro, there is no bigger flex than owning a ship.
But the ship thing. Yeah, I think that is like levels, obviously. It just if Mr. Beast is giving away planes, how are you going to maintain this plane?
Bro, he sells islands as well, and he gives islands away in his YouTube videos, right? And they were talking to him going, Jimmy, how did you find an island? He goes, okay, he goes, you can find really expensive islands, like 12, 30 million pound islands. Because, but you can also find like $1 million islands. Right. You then use 500 grand to do the island up, so the island looks like a $12 million island. And he's just reading these numbers off like they're just small change, bro. Like he's just said, buy that derelict condo for 20 grand and do it up with 15 grand. He said if you just buy $1 million island, put some hotels and spend a couple $100 grand doing it up, it will just look like a $12 million island. I'm like, raw. Levels to the game.
Different flipping ball.
Levels to the game.
It's nice to know that, there's people out there who are struggling to or thinking about maintaining a plane or a ship. And I'm only just thinking about the concept of maybe getting a mortgage.
You're thinking, maybe I don't want to pay all this money to live in a house. And these men are going, yeah, I pay 60 bags a month to pay this captain to live on my ship.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, I'm on this journey. Yeah, I'm hoping people will come with me on this journey to learn more about what the purpose of a house is in that sense, and if anyone has got any sarky remarks,
I'm gonna make
obvious it is.
I think next podcast you should talk about mortgages again.
Just
it will force us to go do some homework.
See what I've learned since then, because there's this feeling of there's untold stuff. There's stuff you have to search for. I'm obviously going to do the research and search myself. However, I would like people to talk to me about their proper lived experience.
I agree. If you have any experience in mortgages, give us a comment at the bottom. Because what I don't understand is, it's not as easy as saying, okay, I'm ready to own a house now. What do I need to do? It's honestly not that simple.
No.
I want that house there. What do I have to do? There's so much into it. My in-laws recently sold their house and moved to Skegness, and it was just palaver after palaver.
Right.
Thinking, you man are literally you're trying to just be like, have this, and I want this, and everybody knows how much X cost and how much Y cost and what the difference is.
Yeah.
But there's so much tape to jump through. But everyone involved is aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
But no one is able to make it happen faster.
Right. See that? I don't like that.
Like everyone can play their part, and everyone's people just still waiting for their things to go through. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't like that. I like things to be simple, explained, but
100%.
also if it's very complicated, it needs to be talked about to me often on that journey. You can't tell me once 6 months ago, and I'm like, boom, you told me that. It's like, nah, it's got to be constant. So keep up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Keep up with it, and we'll be okay. I'll be okay, I think. Yeah. Well, lovely. I think what I think about my second topic, we'll go on to Jon-Ross's second topic, which I'm always excited to know what you want to talk about.
Okay, so my second topic is COVID, but not in the way everyone normally talks about COVID. My topic is the effect COVID had or has on people's awareness of mental health.
I just want to say, I don't like calling it COVID. I like calling it the event, because
The events.
COVID is very emotional language, and if I just say the event, people go, "What are you talking about? 2020 to 2022."
You're having Harry Potter vibes. He who should not be named.
Basically.
So the events effects on people's awareness of
But today, let's carry it
mental
on
health.
COVID.
It's a strange one. So the fact that the event made everybody so much more in tune and aware how important their mental health is. People who've never really thought about it before on a deeper level are now supremely aware that mental health is very important. Fantastic, because mental health is very, very important. On the other hand to that, I believe that I'm trying to be so PC.
Yeah, you're taking so much time.
On the other hand, there are people who are experiencing situations now who will fling up a mental health flag when I don't think there needs to be a mental health flag flung up.
Tell me more.
Thank you for asking. It's going to sound very basic, but it's also people listening to this will understand. Unless you're struggling with your mental health, then you might feel like I'm picking on you. I'm not. Genuinely, I'm not. Some people struggle every day with mental health, and it's horrible. It's horrible because it's hard to explain and it's hard to get out of that. I understand that at least. But every now and then, people who are in tune with mental health and get on fine with it. You and I, do you get on fine with mental health? 9 days out of 10?
9 days out of 10, yes.
You're okay?
Yeah.
We can feel depressed at times, right? Things can depress us, things can be depressing.
Yeah.
We experience depression,
Yes.
right? I can experience a depressed episode and be like, oh my god, that's so depressing. And then I can work myself out of it, or as time passes, it eases and I can get on my day.
Right.
Some people will experience the same thing and then they disappear for like 3 weeks or months.
Okay.
Right?
Withdraw
And
kind of
then,
thing.
yeah, and then when you hear what they say, you think, from an objective standpoint, you think to yourself, is that it?
Okay. Yeah.
So what I've learned about myself in the past few months from talking to my wife is that I lack genuine empathy for other people and their problems.
Okay. You said this to me before as well.
Yeah, so I know through my position at work, I know how to deal with situations. I know what I have to say and what I have to do to express to them that they're not going to get judged. I will never judge anyone because, like I said, I understand that situations affect people differently.
Yeah.
And you and I might experience the exact same thing and walk away from it feeling differently. Positive or negative. So I understand that. But if someone was to ever say to me, I'm feeling this because of this, what do you think? If it was just me and them in that room, and it would never ever leave that room, 9 times out of 10, I'd be like, you just need to get over yourself.
Okay.
However, I am very much aware that you cannot respond to something like that. See what I mean? But it's because if I love you to pieces, I love my wife, right? If you two came to me like that, I would sit there with you until the cows come home and try my best to understand, empathize, and help you the best way I can. But if I don't know you or don't care about you, you could tell me something and it wouldn't even take the cream off the top, honestly.
And I think that's really honest to say, you know, and the point is, you could try to understand, but if you can't even scratch the surface of it, or if maybe the person's not even giving you that insight, or putting it in a language that is going to make sense to you, I'm not saying you don't well understand it, but when someone's explaining their situation, they often speak in their own language. They don't say, how can I make this person understand what I mean? Whether that's using metaphors, stories, supervillains, anything like that. Like they struggle to find those words. So I 100% agree with what you're saying. And actually, your language to the people you know will probably be more closer to what they'll understand. When it's someone else, it's going to be like, you see something back?
But hold on.
So, thank you, but you can be moved by a stranger. You,
Me,
personally.
I would say so.
A stranger could move you.
Yeah.
A stranger can never move me.
Okay.
Never. No matter what they tell me or what's happened to them, I can never be genuinely moved by a stranger's experience.
So what about linking to the event then? The event and then adding together what you're talking about, other people's experiences versus people you know. If someone's explaining how they felt during the event, you would probably have more empathy, right?
No, because I got through the event okay. Like I don't know anyone apart from one of my aunties in America. Well, I haven't seen her since I was a child. But apart from that, I actually don't know anyone who's personally been affected or suffered loss through the event.
Okay.
Like their own loss. Obviously, I know people have lost family and that, but like I haven't lost anyone to the event.
In terms of the social isolation aspect as well.
I was at home with my wife, dog, son, and Kyra.
Yeah.
So I had company all the time. We went on walks. We played games. We literally turned out board games every weekend to play them. We went on walks. So I had a great time in lockdown.
Yeah.
Like I generally had a really good time.
Yeah.
The company I worked for looked after everyone that worked there.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean? So I actually didn't have. So when people sit there and go, "Oh, it was horrible, wasn't it?" I always pause because my initial reaction is like, "No, it was great," and I have to remember that there was a global pandemic that really affected people's lives. So I have to. So I then have to. I paused because I was about to go. Nah, I had a great time. I have to go. Yeah, it was rough, but that's not how I feel because it wasn't rough for me.
So I get that actually. It makes a lot of sense because it's also a bit rude to presume that everyone had the same experience.
Because we met up a couple of times in parks, right? When we were allowed to see each other, we were out in parks and that, and we it was fun. It was good to see you. It was good to socialise with you, all that kind of stuff.
I would say, yeah, you probably were unaffected to that extent. I think for the rest of the world, a lot of people who had social isolation, it was like prison rules.
Yeah.
Life was prison rules. Like you were in the clink and then you were also in the box, basically, in a box of your own emotions.
The clink.
Being battered by them. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. And maybe that speaks to a bigger thing where if you don't have the empathy for the person in the situation, how can you not deal with them? Deal with them is the wrong word, but it's like there's an element of okay, they should also go, you don't understand me, no stress, let's keep it moving kind of thing. It shouldn't be a frustration thing. It should just be okay, let's call it what it is, you know. In that sense, you shouldn't have to pretend to understand someone if you don't.
No, the thing is, I do understand.
Okay.
So the understanding is all there. It's just the fact that I just don't care.
I think you're
On the same thing, it's on the same thing how I said to you, like I cannot be moved by a stranger. You could crawl over to me using your first two fingers, be missing an arm and a leg, have no tongue, and then use your two fingers, grab a pen and write this wonderful story about how you travelled across the world. You lost your family, lost your limbs, blah blah. Do you know what I mean? And I could I'll literally just be like, get away from me. Like, don't touch me with them two fingers you used to crawl through the dirt for the last like 40 days. Like, I don't care.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. You better hope you've not been crawling for hours and bumping into Jon-Ross.
Mark, the last time I
care.
cried was a good few years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
At my granddad's funeral, on the day of the funeral in the church.
And then nothing since.
Nothing since. Haven't cried since.
Bro,
When was the last time you cried?
I cried probably about a week ago.
See?
Yeah. So.
I've been emotional, but
Mm-hmm.
like never to the point of crying.
No.
Like if I start to experience severe emotion, I could just be like, that's unnecessary, and I could just be like, no, I don't need that.
I think there's power in that, because you don't want to be constantly being battered by everything, because there's two extremes. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be just walking down the street, see a leaf fall from the sky, and just cry for climate change, like just boom, just like that. Obviously, that's just nature, but
That's a mad extreme as well.
I don't want to be that sensitive to everything, and we need people to be less sensitive, because if you're so sensitive, you can't make progress on stuff. You're just getting battered by stuff.
I believe that
If you've
people
got a
need to be
recharge,
less sensitive.
in games,
general.
you've got a recharge bar or whatever. Every time something happens, you've got to go back to for zero, and then it takes you so long to come back up. You'll never get anywhere, So more power to you if you can bounce back, or if you just don't care and that allows you to keep moving forward. Then
It's like I agree. So let's do things. So I believe that there is a snowflake generation of people that get affected by everything.
Can you be more specific? When did it start? When did it end? This
Around
generation?
pandemic, bro.
Okay.
So, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the issue is that these people are feeling a way, and instead of trying to cope with it, are just shooting down, going, "You shouldn't be doing that because it makes me feel like this, and it's wrong." Like I can do something, you can not like it, and it doesn't have to be wrong. I shouldn't have to change my behavior because you're upset,
No.
right?
I think they lack the tools though, because it's like demanding someone change their behaviour is like the most head on. If this is a war tactic, you're coming at me head on, bro. I can see your movement straight away. You got the higher ground or whatever that nonsense is, but that's like just lack of tools, bro. Like if you want to get someone to change their ways, there are so many ways to go about that.
But I agree. But they don't need to change their ways. Why do they need to change their ways?
I appreciate that. They don't need to, but how can I demand someone to change their ways if they're just gonna go, no, you change your ways?
Yeah. I think some people try to use resolution where it's not needed all the time. Like there'll be a disagreement about something, a big topic, abortion in the US, right? So it's becoming illegal in a lot of states to have abortions, right? Why? Because I see both sides of it. I agree that on a base level, abortion is wrong. On a base level, it's wrong to go and kill that infant because you or someone you're with didn't want to be careful that they used contraception, blah, 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 blah. However, it's also wrong for you to bring that baby to bring it into this world if you're not ready for that child. And if you don't choose to get ready for that child, or if an extreme circumstance, for instance, like rape, leaves you pregnant, you should be able to abort that baby, right? But it doesn't need to be made illegal. Why is it illegal? Because now you've now said that there is a right and wrong answer to abortion, and there's not, because every single situation of abortion is different. So it just depends on what that person needs to do. That you don't need to. It doesn't even need to be a topic. It could just be left that you can get an abortion if you want. That doesn't need to be such a hot topic. It doesn't need to be center people's focus.
Okay.
What's the other one? Black Lives Matter. Kanye West wearing the White Lives Matter t-shirt. Like he's doing things. He did that for reaction, right?
He does everything for reaction.
But Black Lives Matter shouldn't even need to be an issue.
No, it's obvious.
Black
People's
lives
lives
matter.
It's obvious.
So
Black lives matter.
And when people say all lives matter, and they do, but when someone goes, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," all lives matter. Like, why do you have to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's obvious all lives matter.
Yeah.
It's obvious that all lives matter.
Everything is obnoxious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of obnoxious people who try to just make arbitrary points to kind of, I don't know, they just like to be disruptive.
Yeah.
It's what it is, it's being disruptive.
100%.
Because if it's not in your lane, if it's not in your world experience, but you have an opinion on it, you're basically just imposing your behaviour or your... Listen, if you make... I will never encounter a situation where I personally have to get an abortion because I don't have the ability to become pregnant.
2022, man. Men are having kids all the time.
Potentially.
That's another topic, guys, for another week, that is.
Another one. You made me crack up laughing. Like, I was like, wait, is that possible? I don't think I can have a child, so therefore, how can I fully appreciate and talk for somebody else? I can give
100%.
a point of view if it's requested.
100%.
You know, will it have a weight on things? Can I vote on it? Why should I be able to vote on that?
When it goes to abortion, the topic is like, your missus comes in right now and says, Tamar, I'm pregnant. You, Tamar, have two options, right? You can either be like, and this comes from Chris Rock. He's doing in a stand-up special, paraphrasing, because I'm not as funny as Chris Rock. So your missus comes in and goes, Tamar, I'm pregnant. You've got two options. Wow. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I'm so glad we're having this baby. I can't wait. Your other option is, so what we're going to do.
Oh my God.
That's your other option.
Because of the world we live in, you kind of go, you kind of want to say, so what we're going to do straight away, because if we are going to go ahead with it, then what are we going to do? What are you going to do? What am I going to do?
Tamar, got it out. He went, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? Your body, your choice, Pinker. What are you going to do? Whenever I see people here and they say, oh, I'm pregnant, I always go, good? That was my response. I go, good? And they go, yeah. I'm like, congrats.
Right, yeah,
Because
exactly.
if I go, good, and one time someone went,
no. Yeah. It's all relative.
Okay.
It's absolutely all relative, because you know that there's some men out there that when the partner decides to have the abortion,
Trap
they
them.
leave. Huh?
trap them.
Just to trap them, or as you want to put it, or have the baby. They're like, if they have the baby, sometimes they're happy or they're sad for that. But there's others that when they decide to not keep the baby, that they're sad and happy. So it's all relative. You can't make a rule for. You're basically splitting it halfway down the middle almost. Everything 50-50, and it's like, no, can't we just do both? Can one not exist and the other one?
Yeah.
No, just one way. Just one way.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you ain't even living right.
Yeah.
You ain't living right, you know? So, yeah, that's you got me going with that one, actually. Got me thinking.
Cool, man. What's your next topic, man?
Our next topic. Let's take a tiny little break.
Yeah,
and
man.
we'll come back on that one.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah. Stay tuned for more Chat and Podcast. Whew. Okay, we are back on the Jam Podcast, and we move into the next section, which is a
hot takes. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fling around 5 topics at Mar, right? And I don't want him to sit there and deliberate. I don't want him to sit there and try and think of a deep answer to the question. I want him to just answer what he immediately thinks. If it takes too long, I'll rush him along, get it out. If it takes too long, we'll move on completely, because he's trying to PC up the answer. For some of you that don't know, Mar's trying to become the mayor of London. So,
Luton.
Mayor of Luton, sorry.
Luton.
Mayor of Luton.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
Luton,
you very
man.
much. Yeah.
So I'm going to fling some stuff at him, and I want to see what immediately comes out. I'm not going to let him elaborate. I'm not going to let him explain himself. So please, trigger warning now. There might be some stuff you don't enjoy. These aren't his real views. He's not going to get time to explain himself. So it's 2022. I need to get it all out there before
These
people
aren't
try and
my real
cancel us,
views.
man.
Can you say?
I might drop something. He might say something and go, "Oh wait," and I'm just gonna move on. We're not covering that ground. We're literally not covering that ground. All right, you ready for hot takes, Mark?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hot take 1. What's your hot take or your take on abortion?
Well,
Come on.
It's up to the persons involved to choose. That's it. Simple as. That's it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my fault because I brought it up when we were having a conversation before.
Yeah. I was ready for that one.
What's your hot take on the NHS?
NHS. It needs more investment. People don't understand how it works. They don't want to understand. They just want to know they can get free shit and they move on and done. That's it. You know, that's it.
What's your hot take on racism?
Racism is alive. People don't believe it exists. And when you experience it, then you know. Then you fucking know.
Will it ever go away? Will we ever get to a space where there's no racism?
Someone will always be racist to someone else. Always. It's what we do afterwards that matters.
Oh,
Yeah.
you practiced that before mayoral campaign, guys. You hear that?
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Your hot take on Christmas?
Christmas. I believe that if you are depressed, you hate Christmas. If you're not depressed, then you love Christmas, because people being happy around you makes you more happy. People being sad around you makes you more sad. And people being happy when you're sad makes you more sad. Instead, if you can't get over it, it's difficult. Let's move on.
Lord, drop the saying. If you're depressed, you hate Christmas.
Well, it's the Grinch. The Grinch.
Yeah, the Grinch.
The Grinch is a story of a guy who's depressed, and you know that's the truth.
No way.
I used to hate Christmas. Now I love it.
No way.
Thanks.
The last,
Thanks for that one.
The last hot take, Mar, is what is your take on war?
War.
Yeah.
It's always got some ulterior motive to it. There's a lot of tactics and strategy, man. Like, come on, if you don't go to war, what if they get you? It's never simple, man. It's never simple, but it shouldn't really happen. It shouldn't happen. And then, yeah, it shouldn't happen. But it's complicated.
do you think it's necessary, war?
A group of people will get to a point where they believe it's necessary, and that's when they'll do it.
Do you think it's necessary? Do you think war is necessary?
No, I think there's always another way.
So you think that all countries are able to just disband their armies?
Yeah, anyone who's ever gone to war haven't thought creatively enough about the situation, in my opinion.
That was last hot take. That's just staying. Listen, I disagree. I think war is necessary because to our core, if you divulge the nature of people, we're violent. We love violence as people. We love it. As a spectacle, as a show, for whatever reason, we love it. So I think there'll always be the need for war, because eventually, if two people genuinely believe they're right on a topic and they're opposing, it will lead to war. That's how I feel. Eventually,
well,
not immediately, but
I disagree, good sir.
You run a country and I run a country, and we both want this country in the middle. Let's just use that as a basic.
Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
We can argue back and forth until the cows come home about who should own this country.
Yeah.
Right? So either two things happen. Either none of us will take it, and it will just sit there and we'll argue back and forth forever.
Yeah.
Or one of us will take it, which will force someone to be like, I want that back. Boom,
Yeah.
war.
Absolutely. That is one option.
If a decision is made on this little country, there'll be war. The only way there won't be war is if we don't make a decision on that country. And we just leave it empty forever. But people are also greedy. So eventually I'm going to be like, that island is full of gold. I want the gold there.
Eventually, people will have a decision to make. You're right. Always. Because people can be anti-war until you see tanks rolling in your yard. And you're like, oh, I'm anti-war. Okay, you're going to let them just roll. So there'll always come a point where you decide, do we go to war or not?
So I feel like even if there's a country here, right? This is how much I believe that war is always going to occur. We could both want different resources on this island in abundance, and we will still war over the island. Instead of me going there to mine the gold and you going there to mine the copper, you'd be like, no, you're not getting the gold. I'm getting the copper. You're not getting that gold. That's my island.
Those are some stupid leaders, though. Because come on, we can both win. We can both win without sacrificing our human resources. That's what it is.
You need to run this country, this whole country.
Thanks,
if that's
bro.
how you genuinely believe.
Bro.
Because I believe that your way should happen.
I mean,
it's
it's idealistic. It's completely idealistic.
Yeah.
It's not a realistic, what we call a realistic thing, but an idealist has to think of other ways of doing things. You can't just be like, yeah, man, we're going to war. It's like, what else can we do with our time? How about we just have a cup of tea?
No, tea and a chat.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, let's get back to talking about that gold. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as you're willing to...
Okay, here's oh my god, this is so great. Putin.
Bye.
These men were talking to Vladimir for months.
Yeah.
They were saying, Vladimir, please leave Ukraine alone. And Vladimir would look at them straight out saying, I'm not even in Ukraine. I'm not even thinking to go to Ukraine. What's your army doing? They're practicing. On the border, they're practicing. Don't go to Ukraine, I'm not even going. Don't go to Ukraine, I'm not even going. Vladimir, you're in Ukraine. So what happened was, they disrespected us. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were trying so hard. Because all it takes is one guy to be like, fuck this, we're warring. And that's it. You have to go to war. It literally takes one, and that's proof there. All these other countries, the summit, the G7, G8, they were literally all ganging up on Vladimir saying, do not punch up Ukraine. He went, I'm going to thump up Ukraine hard.
The point is he wants something. And he has power. You don't tell someone who wants something and has power, don't do something. You say, what can we offer you to make you not do it? And if they say, nothing, I still want it, then they're just playing hard to get.
But Mar, since he's gone into Ukraine, these men ain't done yes, we're giving the Ukrainians some weapons and blah 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 blah, blah and we're supplying them. All the countries that opposed this war should have rolled in, formed like barracks deep, but no one still to this day they've just gone, please come out of Ukraine, and he's gone, I'm not. He's still saying like I'm not even there. Like he's still saying things like we ain't even they warring with us. We're not even warring with them.
That's the problem. He's got power, and it's a broken system. There's somebody there that has his ear. Somebody's got his ear somewhere, and they ain't telling him to stop.
It takes one bully, Donald Trump. It takes one guy that just thinks I don't care, and that's it.
You say that, but somebody somewhere will be like, yo, Ivanka, she'll whisper in his ear. Somebody will say something to him at some point to change his mind, or to make him have doubt, and the system ain't working because he's still can't carry on.
Man.
You know, he's sacrificing the human resources for something else, for land. So yeah, that's my hot takes.
How do you think Rishi's going to do in the office? I don't know a lot about politics. I think you know more than I do. I don't know how far your expertise go, but
Rishi,
I don't know anything about politics to be like he's going to be shit or he's going to be good.
Rishi
But
is a
everything
great
I
character.
hear is not positive, but I don't know.
He's a great character. You know, if you've got a really
Better than Boris
he's
in terms of character. Boris' character is amazing.
Boris's character is funny. He's a funny man. Like he's a joke. That's literally what he is. You know, if while you're laughing, you can't be angry. You know what I mean? That's what the whole point is. With Rishi, he's just a very well put together person. So, you know, you can have a shit storyline, shit background, shit everything. Put a good character in it. Oh, he's got a good character, but everything else is still shit. And that's basically what Rishi Sunak is. He's just a good character in a
Shit story.
situation. It's a story, yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's all we've got time for today.
Yeah.
Look out for the next episode, man. We're going to do these as often as we can. The goal, like I said, is for me and Tamar to get this bag.
Get this bag.
So we can give up
Get
what
the
we
bread.
do for a living,
Come
and
on.
we can bring you like an episode a week, and
Come on.
2 episodes a week.
Come on, you know it.
That's the dream. That's what we want to get to. We want to stop doing this. Tamar calls it fuck a 9 to 5. We want to get off this grind and just make content for a living. That's what we want to do.
This is it.
So yeah, keep an eye out. I don't want to say one's going to be next week, but it'll be out as soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Keep an eye out, guys.
Nice one. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye bye. It's a wrap. Yeah, man.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be